Hey everybody, Adam Gussow here with a lesson on something that I get asked a lot, and I realize I've never done this in the many lessons that I've uploaded to YouTube, which is to say, what is the perfect warm-up routine for a beginning player? So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm using as it happens, a Hohner Marine Band in the key of C, and most of you, if you're beginners, probably have a C. But what's important is that you should do this routine on every different key that you have at least once from time to time, because each note on each harp is a little bit different. So, and that's sort of a key principle here. Key thing, so if you're a beginner, you're working on just making sure that you've got good embouchure, which is to say shape of your mouth, that you're centered on the hole, which is to say that hole between, in the case of Marine Band, between the pieces of wood, underneath the numbers. So when I say 4 blow, I mean you're pushing air through, 4 draw, you're pulling air through. So there are really two primary elements to this routine, and it's pretty simple. This should be a pretty quick video. The first is a C major scale, or a major scale. If you're using an A, it's an A major scale. It's in what we call first position. That means that we're playing a scale in the key that's written on the harp. Now when I play blues, different deal. We're not there yet. You're a beginner, so let's do beginner stuff. We're going to start on the 4 blow, the 4 hole blow, or the 4 blow. So the very first thing to do would be to get that note, right? Got to make a single note, got to get it strong. Key thing here, and the reason why this warm-up is important, is you're adjusting your embouchure to get just a clear, full, not too loud, not too soft, no breath sneaking in from the sides, just a clear, single, 4-hole blow note. What am I doing? Well, if you've seen other videos of mine or directed towards beginners, you know that I'm sort of doing the fat lips thing. I am fattening up my lips like that, and then I'm pushing the harp firmly, not too firmly, but firmly against the inner part of the pucker. That's the secret. Yours probably sounds more like, and you're making what I call old maid's mouth. You're sort of curling your lips in, which is a common mistake for beginners. You figure, well, I just want to get one note, so I have to go real small. That's wrong, actually. You have to go small with the inner part of your pucker, but the outer part you want to go big. Ugh. If you have a little bit of the 3-hole, you want to slide over, narrow it. So this is our warm-up, is just start with the single note. Do the best you can. It's important. These are foundations. You know, the soccer coach, the baseball coach is always talking about foundational techniques. All right, this is a foundational technique, single hole. So the warm-up routine is to go up and then to go down. So the first thing would be to go 4 blow, 4 draw, and then 4 blow. How about that? Okay, so let's make that our very first warm-up thing. Just 4 blow, 4 draw, 4 blow. You're blowing, you're drawing, and you're blowing, getting it with the right embouchure. Now I'm going to introduce you to a really important technique, which is do it to a beat. Once you can do it to a beat, because all of the blues stuff we're going to do later on, or all the folk stuff you want to do, is going to be to a beat. If you want to play with other people, you need to play to a beat. Right? Steady time. You got to have good time. We're going to start developing good time. So what I do is I tap my foot. So I'm going to find the right tempo. I'll tap my hand, make it easier to hear. Just like that. Now, leave exactly a full quarter note after that 3rd note. Leave that space empty. Don't rush the next. Practice properly. It's not how much you practice, it's how properly you practice, and with what focus you practice. Rest. Now once you can do that, you're ready for stage 2. We're going to go 4 blow, 4 draw, first 2 notes of that 3-note pattern. And then we're going to slide over one and go 5 blow and 5 draw. And then we're going to reverse and go back down. How about that? So we're not even going to do the full scale. We're just going to do 4 notes. It's going to sound like this. Now right away, so breath and breathing begins to become a challenge, a problem for beginning harmonica players. And here's what I notice. I notice that as I do that 2 times, maybe 3 times, what I'm doing is I'm actually not breathing through my nose at all. I'm just breathing through my mouth. And what I notice is, well, let's see. Blow, draw, blow, draw, blow, draw, blow. Seems like I'd be pretty much equivalent number of draws and blows, which is the key thing, because if it's everything's draw, you need to get a blow out at some point. But if I'm doing, what I notice is that I kind of need to consciously open up a little bit and breathe a little bit through my nose. Even as I'm breathing through my mouth, I gotta let that air, that nasal airway remain open. Let me try that again. Do you want to do it with me? Interesting. So I notice that at the end I'm just relaxing my lips and I'm letting the remainder of the air that I've got in me out. So that's one way to handle it. All right, really what I intended to do with this lesson is move you towards a C scale going up and then a C scale going back down, and that's really the warm-up. But all of this is on the way to the warm-up, so once you can do this, you can bypass this if you want. Here's the full Monty. I'm going to go all the way up on the scale, and then I'll tell you what I'm doing, and I'll go back down. And there's one little tricky thing that goes on. It's one of the first things you'll learn as a beginning harmonica player. So check this out. Did you notice, by the way, that I was slightly faster tempo than I was before? So be conscious of tempo. You got to pick your speed. If you're a beginner, too slow is not good. Too fast is certainly not good. So try to find a speed that makes you feel relaxed. Relaxation is key. Relaxation with proper intensity. Okay, here we go. Now, you know, I've been playing 45 years, and I'm of course I'm trying to tap with my hand, and I usually hold the harp here, so I'm doing a lot of things mixed up. It's still, there are little things that can sort of get in the way. So what you're striving for is perfectly sounded notes with nothing extra, nothing added, nothing subtracted, full strong tone. No little note, no 3-hole and 5-hole when you're trying to play 4, just single clear notes. And they're even and they're regular, and you go up and then you go back down. Now you may be saying, wait a minute. You may say, wait, I want to play blues harmonica, so why you're like doing European concert tradition super? Yes, because it's important. Before you better believe, you know, John Coltrane could do this kind of thing, and he could play a straight scale going up and straight scale going down before he went on all of his sheets of sound kind of stuff. You got to master the basics. Then you can dirty it up. I hear far too many harmonica players who can't play like this, and when they dirty it up, it doesn't sound very good. So I can play clean, I can play dirty. Here I'm teaching you to play clean. It's important. It's important for a lot of reasons, and which will become apparent by and by. So, what did I do? Well, I did the following. I went 4 blow, 4 draw, move to the side, just enough to go 5 blow, 5 draw with the same embouchure, then 6 blow, 6 draw, and then the first switcheroo, 7 draw, 7 blow. That is the mind thing that beginners deal with, which is that the harp is set up so that you do 3 in a row, blow, draw, blow, draw, blow, draw, and then draw, blow in order to get things to turn out right. That's just how the harp is set up. So you got to file that away as secret knowledge that you're coming into as a beginning player. So let's try that again. I'm just going to go up. Maybe you can go with me. A count like this. 1, 2, ready, go. Let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, go. Now I find, for me, that's a little slow. For you, that's probably about right. When I'm warming up, I might do it with what we call cut time. I might go 2 notes per beat. Anyway, we've gone all the way up. We've gone all the way up. Can you do that? It's going to take time. It's hard to do. But that's a great warm-up. That scale is a great warm-up. Now, we want to go back down. The question is, what's the timing? And here, this is where I don't just go back down. I want something that feels musical. So I'm going to go something like this. Let me see if I can do it for myself now. Ah, I like that. Now, what did I do? I did what we call a gliss or a glissando. I slid up and I left a space. Actually, I didn't leave a space. I just slid the glissando in there on the heels of that 8 blow. Let's do that again. And again, these are all good sort of basic warm-ups. These are getting your embouchure warmed up. And here's a key thing. If you're a beginning player, one thing you will find as you do this lip pursing style is you will find that your lips, as you're developing chop strength, but don't yet have quite enough chop strength, you will reach your endurance limit. It's like being a jogger, and if you usually go a mile and you go 2 miles on that day, by 2 miles you're feeling like, "Ugh, my legs are tired," muscle exhaustion. Well, you'll get a little of that as a sort of ring of tiredness around your lips. Has that happened to you? It happens especially when you play the high notes. We're going to talk about that in a sec. Okay, so here's the basic principle. Basic principle, you should be going 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Okay, so that's number 1. That's the hard one, actually. Number 2 is easier in some ways because there's less sort of, there's no in and out, back and forth kind of thing. So that's the first of 2 warm-ups for absolute beginners, okay? The second one is to do blow, draw, blow, draw, blow, draw from the lowest note on the harp to the highest note on the harp. It's not musical, but it's important. Okay, what does this sound like? And then, so it would be 1 blow to 1 draw, 2 blow, 2 draw, 3 blow, 3 draw, 4 blow, 4 draw, all the way up 10 blow, 10 draw. It's a weird exercise, and I may be the only harmonica teacher out there who's telling you to do this, but I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to explain why it's important, and then we'll sort of work through it briefly. So, what does it sound like? And then, of course, back down. That's back down. So why do this? Doesn't sound particularly musical, but for a couple of reasons. Number 1, because we are harmonica players. We play the smallest instrument. I think it's smaller than pretty much anything, including a piccolo. It's tiny, 10 holes. Make sure you're comfortable with that you befriend all 10 holes on your instrument. Far too many players just kind of hang out on holes 1 through 6 and just don't ever get near 8, 9, and 10. Okay, that's number 1. So reason number 1 is that. But why is it important to befriend those holes? Well, because your embouchure has to change. If you're going to get a good sound on each hole, then it's like playing 10 different instruments in some ways, because the relationship between the 2 notes that you're playing is different on each hole. Sometimes they're a whole step apart. That's a whole step. Sometimes they're a half. Sometimes they're a step and a half. They're 2 whole steps, excuse me. Sometimes they're a step and a half. Sometimes they're 2 whole steps. All right, so that changes from hole to hole. And each time you have a different relationship between the blow note and the draw note, it feels a little different in your mouth. Your embouchure has to change a little. All of these are part of the work of becoming a harmonica player who has a good sound, a good command of the instrument. There's no time like a beginner time to sort of begin to get used to that idea. Okay, the lower holes require Ideally, a little bit of dropped jaw, so you'll find over time you learn how to optimize the sound. The higher notes, though, are a particular challenge for many players. I get emails all the time from players saying, I think my 9 hole is broken, or I think my 10 hole is broken. And it's because they have an embouchure, they have a conception based on sort of what the mouth shape should be and how hard you should need to push or pull on the lower holes, and they try to apply it to the higher holes, and it doesn't work. That's why we do this. So, especially the 10 really takes a certain amount of push. And it's also, of course, it's a very small note. Now, I've thrown a lot of stuff at you. I think it's time to end this lesson now. But what are the two things we basically did? Well, we started with that. We ultimately went to the scale, the full C scale, up and down. So if you did that, you did not remember to reverse direction between 6 and 7. You went. It's the simplest beginner mistake, but it's entirely understandable. You just forgot to reverse. That's something you've got to file away. Oh, reverse. That was the scale up, scale down, and then we have the whole hole 1 through hole 10 and back. And it's just blow, draw, blow, draw, blow, draw, blow, draw, blow, draw, blow, all the way from the bottom to the top and from the top to the bottom. And one thing you notice several different, there's two things I should have talked about, because this exercise also introduces you to the weirdness of the harmonica. And so one thing you may have noticed is that you've got 2 draw is the same as 3 blow. That's one of the weird things about the harp, is that it has the same note side by side, 2 draw and 3 blow. Good to file that away. Maybe it'll be useful someday. The other thing is that if you go blow, draw, blow, draw, blow, draw from 1 to 6, the draw is always higher. That second note on each hole is higher. And then all of a sudden it reverses. And on holes 7 through 10, the blow note is higher. Not the draw note, but the blow note. So if you just go blow, draw straight up, at a certain point things reverse, right? Right there, 7. Interesting. So it's important to file that away too, that there's sort of a break point. Holes 1 through 6 here, holes 7 through 10 here. They're organized a little differently. Holes 1 through 6, the draw note's higher than the blow note. Holes 7 through 10, the blow note is higher than the draw note. That may be useful. Anyway, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. This is a beginner ideal practice routine for a beginning harmonica player. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you like it, please subscribe to my channel, wherever that thing is. And I've got, 500 videos on this channel. I've got another channel, the original Gussow channel, which is now sort of, I don't know what it is, Dirty South or Modern Blues Harmonica channel. Anyway, I've got a website, so don't forget all that stuff too. I'll put some links in the bottom. Great to see you, and I'll see you down the line. Bye-bye.